Skip Schumacher with a big blast to cap off a 7-run fourth inning last night, and the Cardinals rolled to an easy win in Game 1 behind Chris Carpenter. We're at the Great American Ballpark tonight, steamy Cincinnati. Game 2 between the Cardinals and the Reds. And with Al Hrabosky, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Let's jump right into it. You've heard it on the pregame show. The comments made by Brandon Phillips. Take a look at these comments, and it adds fuel to the fire of this first place battle between the clubs. Quote, "I'd play against these guys with one leg. We have to beat these guys. I hate the Cardinals. All they do is bleep and moan about everything. All of them are little bleeps, all of them." Al, your reaction to the quote?
So he hates the Cardinals, so be it. But when you're going to pop off like that, you better do something yourself. And in the case last night, he was 0 for 5. He struck out to end the ball game, and our second baseman was the big star.
That was Schumacher with his grand slam, and the Cardinals behind Jaime Garcia look to make it 2 wins in a row. Garcia, Cueto, Reds, Cardinals, first place on the line. We'll talk about that big fourth inning when we come back from last night. Unearned run, and it's 1-0 in favor of the Redbirds. And let's take a look at Dusty Baker's lineup here for the Reds tonight. Phillips, Janish, and Votto here in the first. Scott Rowland, Johnny Gomes, Chris Heisey, Stubbs, Hernandez, and Cueto. Loud ovation as Brandon Phillips is introduced to the home folks, and Jaime Garcia is our Marshall Wireless Sprint starter.
Still 9-5. A remarkable season for him. He leads National League rookies with 9 wins, 97 strikeouts, second in innings pitched, and second in ERA.
And look at this. Right away, Molina and Phillips. Bench is clear. Here come the bullpens.
Well, this is what baseball's all about, Dan.
And Tony La Russa, Dusty Baker right in the middle of it.
It's not the first time, is it?
Nope. There's Jim Edmonds down there as well.
I noticed that Scott Rowland was one that grabbed Molina. Carpenter.
Now Carpenter getting into it. Here we go.
Trying to hold him off.
Don't get hurt. Look at this.
Most of them are trying to separate it, but this is where you do get stepped on.
Don't get hurt.
There's some punches in there now.
Miller is tied up with Billy Hatcher right there. Scott Rowland in the middle of it too.
Yeah, but Scotty's trying to be a peacemaker. I mean, he had grabbed Molina earlier. I think he was trying to control Carpenter. That's one way to get a bigger crowd. Duncan in the middle of it. Jim Edmonds has got Duncan. Real simple. White guys go to the first base dugout. The gray goes to the third base.
Umpires want to talk to both Tony La Russa and Dusty Baker. I'm sure they're converging right now. And how did this all start? Here's a look at it as Phillips, a leadoff man, got in the box.
I think it was a misunderstanding.
They had Carpenter up against the netting behind home plate. Cueto was there too. It looked like he was kicking away.
That's the Reds bullpen coach that was talking with Molina. Now Tony talking with Molina. We'll see what the umpires decide. We might have another big argument after this. Jeff Kellogg is the crew chief talking to Tony.
How about Cueto kicking people?
You said that.
Kidding me? Cueto's in the very back there. You see number 17. Look at Cueto just kicking away.
Yeah. That is a little ridiculous.
Kicking people.
Mark Carlson with Larry Vanover. Dusty waiting to hear from the crew chief.
I thought that Wainwright may have tried to get Garcia out of there very quickly and wisely. Now, from a pitching perspective, though, and I know you're going to say, hey, you got to pitch your game, but young guy out there like Jaime Garcia, that's in the back of your mind, and trying to protect your teammates and all the different things that go along with what's happened now in the last 24 hours.
You know, these two managers have a significant history. The end of Dusty's playing career, he played for Tony, and even Tony's been on record saying one of the mistakes he made was not hiring Dusty as a coach. But they are very fiery combatants. And
remember this, that was Mike Crudell up to Kenny Lofton in the playoffs. And then it continued with Dusty and Tony. Dusty, the manager of the Chicago Cubs, one of the great scenes of this rivalry recently, going back and forth at each other.
That's Wrigley Field.
And another chapter here tonight in Cincinnati.
Well, I mean, we're starting to develop a nice little rivalry with St. Louis and St. Louis East. Going back to what you're talking about with Jaime, it really doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a veteran. You just don't know how guys are going to handle it. We haven't seen whether there's been a warning issue, but you still got to pitch your ball game. And we talk about it all the time. Inside pitches are a rare thing today.
Going to be Plunkton right here.
Well, I think somebody will be ejected. Namely, Jaime and Tony.
On their feet here in Cincinnati. Swing and a miss. And we're underway here in the bottom of the first with the Cardinals leading 1-0.
Dusty even said something about his young second baseman who popped off and made some comments. And he said, you know, he said, I'll talk to him, especially because he hasn't done much against the Cardinals.
And now he's going to be 0 for 6 in this series. The stage has been set for what could be a fun night here in Cincinnati.
Absolutely. This is what's supposed to happen. New public enemy number 1 in Cincinnati.
That's Hernandez talking there with Yadier Molina. Now, we did not get word if the pitchers had been warned, and I don't think they have been.
To our knowledge, we don't believe so.
Yadi taps one foul, 1 ball, 1 strike.
But Dan, I've always said that, you know, the rules allow you that if you think a deliberate pitch, you know, with the intent to hit somebody, an umpire could throw you out without a warning. So I wouldn't recommend anybody to hit somebody tonight.
Up and into Molina.
And Phillips will have to be very guarded. If there's he's the pivot man out of second base on a double play ball, I think there's going to be some very hard slides.
Where's Chris Duncan when you need him? He'd have no problem doing that, would he?
Oh, no.
2-1 pitch. Outside. Cueto doesn't like the strike zone. That's the second time in this inning he's looked back into our home plate umpire, Mark Wegner. Good rip by Molina, 3-2. Three-two pitch. Molina hits it out to deep left field. At the track, it's at the wall. How about that? How about that? Molina, a home run. Brandon Phillips left staring at him as he goes around the bags. Does get interesting here with a 4-run lead. Runners at first and second. Alan Craig into the ball game and double switch. They put Craig in right, move Jay to center. And the Cardinal closer, the former Red, Ryan Franklin, into the ball game.
And they probably will pinch hit Jay Bruce if Phillips can extend it. But here, Frankie trying to pick up his 20th save. Look at those, 45 innings, only 6 walks. Brandon Phillips, he does have a hit tonight. Did have a little ground ball RBI. Made the final out last night. And he can make a statement here with his bat, not his vocal cords.
The Reds, no stranger to come from behind wins. Pitch in the dirt, runners do not advance. Also no stranger to one-run games, nearly 40 of those this year. But trailing by 4 here in the bottom of the ninth and 2 outs. Night began talking about Brandon Phillips. Will it end with Brandon Phillips? 1-0 pitch.
Frankie suffered his second blown save and loss on Saturday.
The 2-0.
Just mentioned he's got that very good control, and when he's walking somebody or even falling behind the count, you know it's a little bit odd, but we'll see right now where he'll fire a strike.
2-1 pitch. Phillips, ground ball for the second consecutive night. He ends it. Last night a strikeout. This time he grounds out to second. The Cardinals have taken the first 2 and find themselves in first place. Tomorrow 11 pregame show, 11:30. A battle for first between the Reds and St. Louis Cardinals. And it's Wainwright and Arroyo. A couple of veterans tomorrow will come your way at 11. Pre-game show. Lots to talk about coming up on the post game. Stay with us right here on Fox Sports Midwest.